Blog Talk Radio.
I'm one of your hosts, Seth Michael. I'm a co-founder of White Light Paranormal Insight and a host of a new show on live stream called Into the Light. And I am joined with Wendy Sue, freelance paranormal investigator and full-time animal rescuer in Kansas City. She also hosts Friday Night Fright Night and Mystic Moon Cafe, which is also on Blog Talk Radio. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Seth. How you doing?
Good. How are you and the dogs?
We're pretty good. We're just hanging out here, trying to keep them quiet and played with and pooped out to boot. You know how that goes.
In case they sing, do you have that song ready?
I've got that song right here in front of me. Yes,
good.
I do.
I hope they do it so people know what we're talking about. I am Phil. Wendy's a regular co-host, and I'm actually a guest tonight. I'm filling in for co-host Justin G., he's actually out chasing storms this evening. Or he's here with us.
Yep.
Somewhere in the shadows.
I haven't seen him yet, yes.
He's the founder of Shadow Chasers, actually, Investigations, and producer of a show called In the Shadows. And there is also a Facebook page for everything we mentioned. That's easy enough, right?
Yes,
tonight,
yes, quite.
You want to know? Okay. Oh, wait. Actually, tell us what's on tonight.
Oh, well, we have our very special guest, Teresa Nordheim. Okay.
Member of a ghost.
Go ahead, Seth.
She has been on one official ghost hunt. She looks forward to many more. I have this feeling she's going to do awesome at these, too. She also makes the awesome figurines, and I've seen them, and I've actually commented on her things. They're so cute. They're called Ghosty Adoptions, and they're available only at Spooked in Seattle, where she works with Ross Allison and the crew. And that's we'll give the website at the end. So to introduce her more, Teresa is co-authoring a book called Haunted Historic Tacoma, which she will be published this fall via Arcadia Publishing. There will be over 180 historic photos of Tacoma. I am not sure how to say this word, Stellacum. We'll figure.
Yeah, I'm going to go with it. We'll go with it. Yeah, exactly.
I'm from Wisconsin. What do I know? Lakewood. I know cheese. Right now, cheese in the past. Right now we have right now we have 80 locations on our list and interesting ghost stories, hexes, curses, spiritual activity, authored by Ross Allison, co-owner of Spooked in Seattle Ghost Tours, and actually has more than one book. So, do we have Teresa with us? Because look at this build-up, man. We really need her now.
Oh, yeah. We'll get her music, and I'll get her on. She's called in.
All right. Let's do it.
Making me love you. Making me love you. You and I go hard. Making me love you. But baby, now you're talking, making me love you. Yeah, stop using my head, let it all go. Yeah, you talk on my body like a tattoo. And now I'm feeling stupid, falling back to you.
Well, if that doesn't get your adrenaline flowing, I don't know what would. Hi, Teresa.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
so you're the famous Ghosty Adoptions lady. Oh, my goodness, I love your work.
Hey, that's some of the nicest things I've been called, because I've been called the strange lady who makes those little ghosties, or the weird clay ghost lady.
Oh. Well, okay, if you really are strange, welcome to the club. That's the club we're in.
That's
We're
what
the
being
cool ones.
paranormal is all about, right?
Exactly. All right.
Yes.
So you have a lot of exciting things going on.
We do. We do.
What would you like to start with?
I'm going to say, well, do you guys want, obviously you're asking, so I would start with the Rust Mansion.
Let's go. I know you're really excited about that. Wendy mentioned she really wants to talk about the Rust Mansion.
Yes.
Let's do it.
I am a little bit addicted to this location. Nothing really struck me with it at first, except it's a big, gorgeous mansion that sits on the waterfront in Tacoma. But as we started getting into the research, just seeing the building, I asked Ross, I said, okay, what can you do to get us into this one for an investigation? And he said, not going to happen. He said, the current owners are just very private and kind of don't want to be disturbed, that sort of thing. He said, so no, we're not going to be able to get into that one. Well, then I started researching, and every time I would find something interesting, I would dig a little bit more, and the interesting things with this building just kept coming up, and it's, no stop to it. So, and I can't. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you. You'll probably go into what those are because I'm really interested.
Yeah, and I said I was telling Wendy I'm really glad that you're on tonight because one of the kind of rumors about the Rust Mansion came from a psychic, and I'm kind of curious to see what your take is on that.
Oh, wow.
I said, well, it starts, if you start at the beginning, and I'll try to be semi-brief here, but
wait, one thing. I'm going to tell you so far what I got when Wendy mentioned the Rust Mansion. The first thing I saw was this man that I think he might have lived there before. He's very bossy, very stern. I keep seeing kind of like servants or somebody must have worked for him around there. He's not really good with women. Kind of puts himself on a pedestal. So that's what I got so far, and I saw a little boy so far.
Yeah.
So
well, and that's like I said, that's all. Well, I'll jump right to that part. I mean, there's some interesting stuff with where the smelter. He was the owner of or president of the smelter in Tacoma. It was built on Native American ground, burial grounds. The land that the mansion was built on was actually owned by Paul Schultz, who was a bigwig with the railroad, who had committed suicide. So it's kind of all these just little tiny things kind of building up, to the home being built. And in fact, it was designed after the Shadow Lawn in New Jersey, which the first original one of that burnt to the ground. So it's kind of all these little things just building up to, okay, what's going on with that? Is there, this building a little cursed, the land a little cursed, what's going on? Well, Ross had actually stumbled upon a web page that talked about the eldest son, Howard, of William Rust, and talked about a lot of controversy around Howard's death. Now, the official reports state that the family was in Europe at the time. William, his wife, and their younger son were in Europe. And Howard had stayed here. He was facing some health issues, went over to Hanford to kind of get some fresh air and hopefully get better, but was pretty ill at the time when the family left. And the official reports state that he died, that his heart ruptured, and it was from some sort of birth defect that he had, obviously from birth. However, the psychic had told us, or, the psychic that we had seen her website, and I've communicated with her by email since, she came up with a different version of the death and said that she had read reports on and piecing things together and felt that Howard was actually murdered by his father.
I kept seeing poison. Did she mention that?
What's that?
I kept seeing poison. The word poison.
Not sure. Her feelings or her vibes were that that Howard was seen around town with another man romantically. Okay. And father being a big-time prominent citizen did not approve of that. Because, of course, we're looking, this is like 1911. And the story through hers was that Dad had shot him on the front porch of the mansion.
Oh.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I don't particularly see that, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Well, and the research, let me say it for the record, because I said, Howard is the one that's kind of reached out to me, as weird as it sounds, because I'm not psychic or anything like that. I've just really felt a connection to this one.
Yeah.
And, in fact, when I stopped researching it, and this is just the funniest thing, when I stopped researching this case, Ross and I had went to visit the house, or just to look, from the outside, and we actually saw the chandelier on the front porch moving. Now, imagine it's a big, huge mansion. Ooh. It's a very heavy chandelier, and there's no wind. So, of course, I went home and said, Howard's talking to me. I need to do a little more research on this.
Yeah.
And, again, did some more research, really didn't come up with anything. Came up with a little more history on the house. There was, after the Rust family, there was a suicide in the house. So I came up with all these things, but I kept coming back to Howard. And, again, put the research off to the side for a minute. I had ordered a postcard on eBay of the Pierce County Courthouse, which is my other favorite location. And it comes to me with the postmark from Howard Rust. I literally could not open the envelope until I called Ross and I said, you are never going to believe this. This postcard came from Howard Rust. It wasn't a postcard of the Rust Mansion or anything like that, but, it was like, how on earth does it come from Howard Rust? I actually had to contact... Yes, I had to contact the man and tell him my story and say, okay, you're going to think I'm crazy, but are you in any way related to the Rust family of Tacoma? And he just kind of laughed and said, nope, sorry, I'm not. And so I decided it was time again to research the Rust family. So, see, I blame all of my... I blame my addiction on these little things that keep coming up, and, there's unanswered questions there that somebody obviously wants answered, and I did find through Ancestry.com, I did find a contact, a man by the name of Paul Michaels is a bronze sculptor here locally, and he is actually in the works of creating a bronze sculpture of William Rust that will be on display in Tacoma. He's done some extensive research and was able to actually provide me with, the obituaries for Howard Rust and photographs of each member of the family. And according to his research, because I kind of prompted him to do a little bit more, he did actually find ship records that would state that William Rust was indeed in Europe at the time of his son's death. So if all of the records are correct, this is saying nothing's been tampered with or anything like that, then there's no way that William could have killed his son.
Right. Yeah, I don't particularly get that, but. Yeah.
And that's like I say, it's just been kind of a rolling in the back then, okay, well, what did happen and why are these rumors out there,
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you just allow and don't force any answer, and I'm going to ask you a question, just clear your mind, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Ready? What really happened?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, Phil.
I know I sprung it on you, but I have a feeling that you're drawn for some reason here, and you may know more than you think.
I guess, I mean, to tell you, I'd like to think that he died of natural causes, or let's say not natural, but if it's a birth defect. There's something, though, in the back of my mind saying that pieces of the puzzle don't connect.
Just something fishy.
There's just something is off, something is not right. I keep flashing with, pictures of, like, when you say a real powerful man, that's exactly what I get from William Rust. He was an extremely wealthy man, very powerful, very influential in the city.
Oh, yeah.
Very easily, and I don't want to down the man. He could, from all reports, he was a wonderful man.
On the outside, and where people saw.
Right.
You don't know what's going on behind, the walls.
Right. And, I think in today's day and age, in that same scenario, in today's day and age, if you took an extremely wealthy man and he wanted to cover something up, it could be covered up.
Right. Because this is what I'm feeling. I'm just going to throw it out there, right or wrong. It kind of feels like it's possible that the son was a hindrance to, because it with a birth defect and everything, they need extra care.
And that could explain, the family was very big. The family were very, they were travelers. They loved to go. And in fact, just the year before, Howard had traveled with his mother to Australia and, different places around the world. Pretty extensive, but, and they said that bothered me too, that if my child were deathly sick, that would not be the time to choose a trip to go to Europe.
Exactly.
I would want to be at home with my child, because like Ross was saying too, now we don't know how long it took, but obviously it's not like a flight now where we get on the airplane and 10 hours later we're in Europe. We're talking They were on ships, and however it took, for the ship to get there and back. And, in fact, the records indicate that the family didn't get back until almost 2 weeks after his death.
So if he was planning on something, that would have been convenient for him to have that alibi.
Yeah.
But him straight out shooting, I'm not saying that one is wrong. I'm not feeling the same on that one.
Yeah.
But I do feel like something's fishy. I'm with you on that. Something's just not right.
That's like I say, it just connecting the pieces of the puzzle just don't go perfectly together. They're missing, there's stuff missing. And that's where I think the research has driven me crazy is I want to connect those pieces. But like I say, the little thing with the chandelier swinging, of course, it's an old building. It could have been loose. Who knows? We've been back to that location several times and have never seen that happen again.
Let's go back to the letter. Did you open it?
Yeah, I did. My 10-year-old was a little bit freaked out. She actually was on the phone calling Ross because that's her stability. He's the ghost hunter. He's the, he'll tell Mom that she can't open this cursed letter, And I kept trying to kind of, reassure her that this note is coming, if there's a message coming, it's coming from Howard Russ.
Mute, Wendy, mute.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Find mute.
It just keeps us rolling.
You got us right on a cliff.
Okay.
They got us right on a cliffhanger too, because we're all waiting to find out what was in that letter.
Timing is everything in this.
I know.
And
anticipation, folks.
The letter, all it was my postcard, because it was the postcard that I had ordered. So it was the postcard of the old Pierce County Courthouse.
Oh.
But it was actually coming from Nevada, so it wasn't even, how this Pierce County Court, and it's interesting enough, too, it was a used postcard. And so then we were kind of intrigued at reading the message, which didn't really lead to anything, but it just really interesting. And yeah, it was kind of the big joke. My daughter wanted me just to throw it away, and she got on the phone with Ross, and she said, "You have to tell my mom to throw this letter away because it's cursed." And, there's demons coming with this letter. You have to tell her that. And I had put it in the car when we went over to his house, and I was going to show him, obviously, and she didn't even want to ride in the same car with it because she was certain that ghost was now following us. And I said, but I think I would have been freaked out more if it would have said William Russ on it. Because Howard doesn't seem to scare me. You know, I don't.
Howard's the son, correct?
Yes.
I wonder if he's trying to reach out for you. Reach out. Like you said, give a message across.
Well, and that's like I said, because it just kind of, with the first thing with the chandelier and then the thing with the postcard, you know, it's just kind of weird. And I've actually made some contacts for this location, maybe because I've been looking into it more, but I've made more contacts, I think, with this location than any of our locations in the book. You know, and just with Arcadia Publishing, they primarily do it for photographs. That's the one downside is, I'm going to have to condense my entire story down to about 200 or 300 words. And I haven't figured out which I'm choosing.
You're not done. This isn't finished.
No, and keep in mind we're still, you know, Ross is still throwing around Terrified in Tacoma, which would actually be talking about the haunted locations in Tacoma, but they wouldn't necessarily be historical locations like we're dealing with for Arcadia. And we would also then have the freedom to write more words than, you know, I don't know if he'd let me write the rest section, though, because it might take up half of his book. Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah.
And we did, for the record, we did go to the mausoleum and tried to reach out to Howard, but we didn't get any EVPs or anything like that.
I don't think he's with his body, though. I think he's still in that house.
Well, and that was kind of weird to me too, though. At the mausoleum, there's William, there's his wife, then there's the younger son and the younger son's wife. They're, you know, like in a section of 4 right there, and it's down at the bottom, you know, highly decorated, kind of blocked off, and then Howard's just kind of shoved up on the top of his dad.
Oh, wow.
You know, almost like an afterthought. Oh, here you go. Let's put you in here. You know.
Yeah.
Like he's an outsider to the rest of the family, and you know, God, I'd hate to think that's how, you know, his life was, but it just, interesting.
I think what's kind of drawing him to you is that compassion you have too.
Yeah. Well, and to get the truth out on it, you know, and what really frustrates me is I don't think that we ever will have the truth on this story.
I kind of figure even if you did have the truth in a psychic manner, you can't really prove it.
Right.
So it just has to be something that feels right, and that would be your truth.
Yeah.
And maybe that would help him.
Well, and that's kind of what I wanted to think about too with as far as writing. Now, I don't want to obviously accuse Dad or accuse anyone, but But if we can find kind of an at peace of what happened, you know, like you say, give him the peace of having his words spoken, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it just, like I say, it's just there's all these little things, and then like his brother died at like age 35, so his brother died young as well. And interestingly enough, both parents lived like until their 70s or 80s. You know, so it doesn't mean that they couldn't have both had birth defects and, you know, whatnot. But basically the Rust family stopped at them because the younger son had 3 daughters with his wife, but then he passed away young as well. So.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so can you see why I'm addicted?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Well, yeah, there's like this need to want to help him.
Yeah.
You're like, it's like you're drawn, you know, to helping him.
Well, and like we said, now kind of the hard part, I mean, if you asked me, is this mansion haunted, I would probably, at this point in time, say no. Or not being able to investigate it, but just from the information I've received, I would not necessarily say it's a haunted location. But it sure is interesting.
So to get the record straight, you weren't able to enter it yet?
No. Okay. Like I say, it is a private residence now. It had went from, and so that was interesting too. That's where some of the puzzle pieces fade. Is when Howard died, and the parents and the family came back from Europe, Mrs. Rust refused to enter that house. Now, keep in mind it was built in 1905, right, and this is 1911. She refused to re-enter that house because, and the quotes on the historical registry are, it reminded her too much of her son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they lived in temporary housing until a second mansion was built, and we drove past the second mansion, and it's pretty, it's nice. It's probably less than 6 blocks away from this one, and as far as just the grandeur between the two, the second one blends in with the other houses in the neighborhood. This one is definitely, if you ask anyone from the local area, they'll say, oh, that big white mansion down on the waterfront. People know this location. And so that seemed awfully strange, too, is that, you don't build your dream home and then just abandon it.
Right.
Yeah, that's a little more than just sad feelings not wanting you to go back. That's...
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because if you figure how much money was put into it, and yes, obviously he had some money to throw around, but like I say,
I wonder
the
if
second
she kind of
home,
knew something.
Yeah, possibly.
Because I'm kind of getting a feeling of guilt. I don't think she did it, but she may have suspected.
Yeah.
If this is what we think.
Right. Yeah, because there's something just, and then she donated an expensive pipe organ to one of the churches in honor of her son, and I get the feeling she was a very loving mother, very dedicated to her children. Like I say, the year before, she and Howard had traveled alone when they went to Australia and stuff. It was just the two of them, and from what I can research on her and him, it just seemed like a very close bond between the two of them. So I could see that she would be devastated after his death, but as far as his death being associated with the mansion, according to official accounts, he died in eastern Washington. He died over in Hanford.
Howard?
So, yeah, he was supposedly in Hanford at a ranch that his dad had bought out there. So he wasn't at the house when he passed. He was supposedly out in eastern Washington.
Well, he could have. I keep feeling him at the house, though, because, that's possible, too.
Yeah.
Earthbounds tend to sometimes go back to where most of their memories were.
Yeah. And reconnecting as the body was, because now the body was brought back over here and stuff, too, so.
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my addiction.
That's really interesting. I can see the draw of it all. Mm-hmm.
Well, Ross keeps telling me I need professional help. So.
Well, he's supposed to be the professional, right?
Right?
Yeah, exactly. if you can't help her, Ross, no one can. I'm just kidding.
Exactly. In this category, he is supposed to be the specialist.
That's right.
You're the rock, Ross. What's up? Oh, no.
Well, and in fact, I told him that, I had told myself that I wanted to get a tattoo after I published my first book, and this will be my actual first book that is published.
Gosh, that is so awesome.
Well, so I said to Ross, thank you. I said to Ross, I said, well, you're going to have to help me choose the tattoo then, because it, without him asking me, inviting me to work on it with him, I wouldn't have that opportunity.
Promise me it's not going to say Howard.
Well,
because that would be, then we do have to talk privately.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't, does it? It's not going to, is it? Right?
Uh-oh, she dropped. We lost.
Oh, okay.
We
okay.
lost Teresa. I bet she'll call right back.
Yeah. Wow. I was kind of thinking that maybe we can try to connect with Howard.
Hey, sure, why not?
He doesn't have to leave. We could just go kind of visit him there in our heads, if he's willing to talk.
I believe.
Sorry, guys, I hung up on you.
Oh, that's okay. We were talking about you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, you asked that I didn't have a Howard tattoo, and I hung up. I was done with you.
Yeah, you're like, damn. I didn't want anyone to know that.
Oh, fine. Well, forget about those people.
Well, I did, for the record, I did veto both of his first two suggestions, and I won't even share them.
Oh, boy.
Then his final suggestion is he said he thinks I need to get a miniature Rust mansion.
That'd still cover most of your back, though, or something, wouldn't it?
How about something that represents what you really want for Howard, like freedom?
I said a nice small tattoo would be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to say I don't think my husband would approve of Howard being tattooed on me.
Yeah, that would be a little creepy.
That could cause some questions, and I thought about the word rust. That's a little awkward too.
True. Yeah.
But what do you think that? I mean, maybe just think about like something that you wanted manifested for him, like the peace or freedom, closure, something that represents something like that you would know. Okay, this is about Howard and my not addiction, but my connection. Right,
definitely. Well, that's what I thought, or something that would connect to the Rust Mansion or Howard, or like you say, even thinking of like a cross or some kind of, like you say, a peace symbol or something that symbolizes, the journey of it, because I mean that's obviously books about ghosts and things like that. But
what have you learned about yourself? That's what I want to know. So far,
from this or from the book
from the
in
whole
general?
Experience.
I've learned to appreciate. I know it's probably one of the biggest things I've learned to appreciate some of the history and the historic buildings.
Okay.
Ross and I both, as we're walking down the streets, one of the things we like to do is what he calls a cold call. We'll just be walking down the streets, literally just, hey, this looks like an interesting building. We'll walk in the building and start talking to the owners. We have found more interesting ghost stories that way than you can imagine.
About centered around the Rust Mansion?
No, just in general, in general around the area and some of the different locations. But, even Rust Mansion's a prime example. This couple that owns it right now, it was purchased as a wedding present from husband to wife, which I want that. Geesh.
Yeah.
Some of us can only afford like a Barbie size.
Right.
What's the thought that counts, right?
Well, and their intent was to take it and restore it to its original splendor. And I don't know, because it had at one point been torn down into apartments.
Okay.
But it, as it stands right now, the house, like when we went up, one of the times I went up, there's a woodpecker pecking at the side of the building, and you can just see how, it's an old building. It's been here since 1905. Just a deterioration, and it's just so sad to see that, and you just have like this newfound respect for preserving history and preserving these buildings that, like I say, for example, the courthouse was torn down. There's only one wall remaining from that, or one portion of the wall, and the building's gone. We have a few pictures, very, very few pictures out there on it. and then the history's just gone. And, you know, I can see that same thing happening with, like, the Rust Mansion. You know, the couple that owns it now, obviously they're getting older. They can't do as much as they do probably. You know, and you just see this building that it's still a beautiful building, but you can just see that it's literally falling apart. And, you know, sadly, even though it's on the historic register and all these sort of things, it's falling apart. And once these owners, you know, pass on or sell the place, you know, it's just going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars to restore it. So that's probably one of the biggest things I've learned is just appreciating and respecting what is there.
Right, the history, the people that were there. You're kind of just erasing them like they didn't exist when that happens.
Exactly, and that's the best part about doing the book is I feel like you know, we're telling their story a little bit, and helping those stories live on long after these places are gone. You know, like I say, this one here is an icon in town right now, but give it 20 years from now, and that place might not even be standing anymore.
Right, yeah, just gone, like it was never there. And, you know, everybody loses out on that deal, everybody.
Yeah, yeah, and so many places like that, you know, throughout our research, so many places like that exact same thing is happening. Yeah.
Well, if you find one that's up for sale for about $1.50, I'll get it. I'll buy it. How's that sound?
Hey, I've already been trying for a Spooked in Seattle for their Terrified in Tacoma headquarters. The Rhodes Mansion is for sale in Tacoma, and the Weyerhaeuser Mansion is for sale in Tacoma. I'm fine with either one of those.
Ooh, hey,
you know what I always agree with? I always agree with respecting and preserving history along with giving it new life. So if they would, you know, do it and do both, I think that would be ideal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and the people, you know, I'm a little frustrated. You know, I was reading some of the questions that Wendy had sent me, and you know, what is one of the saddest stories that we have from research on this book? And I think, you know, one of the saddest was the streetcar accident that happened. That was July 4th, 1900. Everybody's crowding on the streetcar, getting ready to go downtown and celebrate, you know, picnics, fireworks, all that good stuff, mostly women and kids. They had over 100 people on it, hanging off the sides and everything, went down a hill. It crashed into a ravine, and over 43 people died.
Oh, no. Oh, golly.
You know,
horrid.
What upsets me the most, I mean, obviously it was very tragic, but it was, you know, it was such chaos that, you know, one lady was confused and took someone else's baby home with her. You know, bodies were stacking up, obviously, at all the mortuaries and things like this. You know, very few survivors. And what's really sad right now, there's nothing to monument that, to mark that, nothing. It's like it never happened. And I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying remember all the tragedy that comes through, but, you know, when you think of something like that, it's one of the most significant losses that city has had. And right now they are, I believe they're building it's either a bus depot or a train depot that'll go right over that location with no monument, no memory to the event. Like you say, these people just kind of disappeared. And, you know, it just hits you of, you know, their lives were important too. So I think they need to be remembered just as much. And that's one thing we're including that in the book. Again, not necessarily that there would be a haunting associated with that, but kind of an in memory of type thing.
Right. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because
that gives thought to it.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's just something that just disappears, you know. I mean, you talk to people about some of this stuff, and they've never even heard of it. Yeah. Like I don't know if you guys have you heard that there was a serial killer who had his last 2 victims in Tacoma?
No.
No. Ooh.
His name's Jack Bird, And Ross actually had told me about this gentleman. He was an axe murderer and took his last 2 victims at a house in Tacoma. And after he was sentenced to be hung, and he had hexed everybody that was immediately involved with his case, saying that they would die like within a year after his hanging. Sure enough, 6 people that were directly connected died within the next year. So again, just a very interesting story that so many people have never heard of, you know. Mm-hmm. Serial killer in this area, we think it's Ted Bundy, but you don't think about them. I had never heard of this one, and then, like I say, to consider that there were, at least 6 deaths after his that, they died from heart failure and different things, but there were men who were predominantly healthy between the ages of like 40 and 60. So definitely.
Well, you mentioned it was an Indian burial ground. That doesn't kind of surprise me if some things are happening. I mean, there's a lot of cases where it could be coincidence, but there does seem to be tragedy sometimes when there was tragedy of the people. Yeah. And some of them were raised to believe in revenge, I think. I mean, from what I know. And could be, kind of in turmoil still themselves. I mean, that's possible. Oh, yeah. It's a hard one.
I'm reading your chats going on right now. I see they were talking about Rose Red, or thinking about that.
That wasn't man.
Yeah, that was at the Winchester, not Winchester. That was at Thornwood Castle in Lakewood, and that one will also be in our book.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, Ross and his team investigated that one.
Is that the one that kept building itself?
No, that's the Winchester, is the one that kept building. Thornwood Castle is in Lakewood, Washington, so just right near Tacoma. And okay. So Colette was saying that's what it was based on, Winchester Mystery House. The Red Rose was based on that.
I thought it was, and that they had filmed elsewhere, but that the weird story with the odd rooms and the doors that went to nowhere and ghost traps and things like that, correct?
Yeah, that was Winchester. So, So that was the Red Rose was actually filmed in Lakewood there at the Thornwood Castle, which is now a bed and breakfast. And, they even claim right on their webpage and stuff that it's an extremely haunted site. And I do know, like I say, Ross and his team I know have been in there to investigate it. I don't know how long ago. But there definitely was some creepy stuff going on there as well.
That I can't explain. I never really connected or looked into it, but it's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very,
I mean, not pretty, but very. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would require a very... When you hung up on us, I was thinking about... I was thinking about it would be really cool to try to connect with Howard.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure I can do it, but I thought about giving it a shot. So all it would be is focusing on him and not bringing him out of wherever he is, just kind of meeting him where he is.
Mhm.
So maybe we can try that a little bit later. I want to talk still about more stuff with you, because you're a writer of children's books as well, aren't you?
Actually, no books yet, but no books yet, unfortunately, but lots and lots of magazine articles.
Very cool.
In fact, I met Ross. Actually, I did an interview with him a few years back for Appleseeds magazine. Did an article on ghost stories, and then here about a little over a year ago, he did a second interview on him.
Sorry, that was Augie. He's in here trying to get me to play.
Hi, Augie. Augie, we're on the show now.
Yes, go play. Go in the other room. Good boy.
Stay by yourself. Augie's always trying to get in the middle of stuff. She's a dog.
Yeah, Augie's a dog.
I was going to see, too, if I can. I was going to send you the Howard's obituary, if I can post that somewhere you can take a look at it.
Okay.
I guess I can post it up on my Facebook.
I have a question. Since I'm not from here, how do you pronounce Puyallup? I don't want to sound too much like an idiot.
That would be Puyallup.
Puyallup, got it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, for my girlfriend is from Washington, and I'll try to pronounce a city, and she'll just laugh at me. So I just got laughed at. I still don't know how to pronounce them.
There's too many Native American names out there.
Yeah.
Well, you did pretty good on Silicon. You did better than my GPS system does, so that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. She has some interesting pronunciations or enunciations, the GPS lady. Do you know why the GPS is never a man?
No, why?
Because it would say things like, I told you to turn right at the last corner. Why are we going to see these friends anyway? They're boring. So that's why they have a woman. Anyway, I had to throw that in there. Anyway.
Okay, so on my Facebook page, Seth, I just posted the obituary. I don't know if you can read it there, but you can kind of see it at least.
Okay. Just give that a bit, and then we'll try that. I thought there was something else. Do you want to talk a little bit more about ghosty adoptions, like how people can? I posted, or we both posted the page for that. How can they go about purchasing some?
Right now, I was actually doing custom orders and sending them out, and I've had a lot of problems with shipping, so I'm just trying to kind of get that figured out, and hammered down of how they're so fragile. And when they ship, they tend to break, and I've had a lot of issues with that. So
is your medium Sculpey or female?
Yeah, usually in Sculpey.
I love working with that stuff. You can bake it right in the oven.
Yeah.
And then you put a glaze over it, right?
I don't. Actually, if I did a glaze, I've thought about something like that because it would add to the stability. Yeah.
So I do some sculptures too. That I think the best way is like you put it in a box and then you create another box over it so it's secure.
Yeah.
So nothing's pressing up against it.
And I did find, this sounds really silly, but I thought, this would be my environmentally friendly way, is wrap the ghosty up, put him in a plastic bag, and then fill the box up with actual popcorn.
Oh, there you go.
That seems to be so far one of the best methods that I'm finding, that they end up not broken by the time they get there.
You know what I used to do, too, is I put a little thing of crazy glue in each one.
That's a good idea.
Just in case. Because that can be kind of fragile because you have little purses and little accessories that they carry.
Well, and see, that's the thing. If it's not extremely detailed, then they're fine and they'll stay together. But the more details you add to it, the more fragile it gets. And, for example, my little ghost hunter guys, I don't think I've seen one of those break yet because they're just carrying a flashlight and their little K2 meter. But then some of them that I've done that are a little more ornate, like, for example, for Todd, I tried to do a memorial one that was Todd with a fishing pole. And it looked really awesome when I got it done, but that fishing pole broke like 5 times.
Oh
no! I have to just redo it, So right now I'm not shipping them, but that may change with time as I kind of figure out the method to get them out better. But they are available right now up at Spooks in Seattle. And
how did you come up with the idea?
Silly as it seems, I am working on a book about abandoned buildings and have an agent that I've been kind of talking to and working with, and she said the one thing I was lacking was, kind of the publicity, getting myself out there and getting known, and trying to think of ideas and ways to get more involved in an area where I'm going to find people who would be interested in abandoned buildings. And, of course, that brings on a lot of the ghost hunters or, urban explorers, that sort of thing. And so that was actually the reason I kind of started doing the little ghosties. And Ross said, hey, bring them up to the shop. Let's see if they sell. And we figured, a couple of them will sell. At first they were just going so quickly that I couldn't make them as fast as I could sell them. That'll, of course, kind of comes and goes in flocks, too. But, something that I thought, well, we'll just do it for fun, and I was doing it because I'm having fun doing it. And then, like I say, I couldn't keep up.
Does it come with a certificate of adoption or little birth certificates like Cabbage Patch dolls used to?
The first ones did not, but then we came up with a death certificate. So they actually come with a death certificate. They come with their own death certificate. Right now the death certificates are just kind of generic, but I've got the outline for it so that I can make them personalized if somebody has a specific, we're making a fisherman and he drowned because he fell off a boat or, something like that.
You can really make up some interesting ways.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I have stepped in front of a hearse during a funeral procession.
Oh, no. I love morbid humor.
Yeah.
My family's all about morbid humor. This is totally my niche.
Yeah. But you kind of got to have morbid humor when you're making death certificates and...
Making little ghosties, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there were the ears got broken off of the one doggie that you sent here for Thor's auction. And I just said, hey, it was the ghosty dog of a Michael Vick fighting dog. That's kind of morbid, but it was funnier in my head. I think it out loud. But
and you know what? And the second one turned out better than the first one, so it all worked.
Oh yes, it did, and they're gorgeous. And golly, the one brought $300 and the other $250 or some such big numbers like that. Mhm.
Well, and see, I enjoyed that too because it's I was able to help with like yours and to help with oh my gosh, I'm going to get the name of it wrong. Is it Haunting for Hope? I don't want to get it wrong.
That's right.
I was able to make one for them to auction off and done a couple here and there for Spooked in Seattle, one for the Bewitched fanfare. It's things
Blackwood Paranormal's in that too, isn't it? Aren't they?
Yeah. There's a little Black Wolf too.
Aw.
You know
what they did? I got to tell you what they did, Teresa. When I got bit by my dog by mistake, I was in the hospital for 5 days. They sent me a care package with a little it's kind of big, a big woofie, really, really soft. I call it Black Wolf, and peanut butter cups, and a Snoopy card.
No.
It was so
cute.
I had to give them I give them a shout out.
Absolutely.
I eat all the peanut butter cups and I sleep with the wolf.
You know what? I have had the pleasure to get to know Colette and Jennifer both. They've been over for a lot of events over at Spooked, and it is just so fun to see all these different groups that are coming together and getting together. And a lot of it started with Todd's memorial. There was such a mix of people there. And just what Todd would have wanted, everybody blending together and getting along. And
he sounds like such a great guy.
Yeah.
I've heard so many awesome things about him. Yeah.
Well, and that's like I said, I had spoke with Todd one time, but just seeing the impact that he had on a lot of my good friends, I could tell you what kind of a guy he was, I mean, I don't think there was a dry eye even in the building when we were watching the video slideshow and stuff like that. It just moved everybody. And one of the big things is that just bringing groups together so that they're not competing against each other out in the paranormal, where they're working together on cases and starting to tear down that stigma that, I can't talk to you because you're in a different group than I am.
There are some. There are some. I mean, I'm not friends with those, but I have come across a couple that are like that. That's okay though. They do their thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
but
and
for the most part, like in the Pacific Northwest, so many awesome people. That's what we're really grateful. Like Elaine from Whoopi, she's in the chat. She considers herself one of my stalkers, and I'm one of hers. we stalk mutually. meaning we don't look in each other's windows, but we listen to each other on the radio. I had to clarify that.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually got quite a few people in the chat box right now. Yeah.
And Kristen is there. She's on our team, Director of Investigations.
I was gonna say, so these are all Seth stalkers that are in the chat room.
I paid them all. No, I'm just kidding. now they're gonna expect a check.
Well, see, we could do, just for fun, we could do someone who calls in, like your, I don't know, fifth caller or something calls in, that they get a free ghostie.
That would be great.
Ooh. Like
Let's
the next caller gets a free ghostie. All right, somebody who can hear us, call in. The number is
tell them the number.
646-716-7748. I'm waiting.
You're so patient. I want to be like you when I grow up.
Wait, you got an hour to do it now.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly, yep.
And I want to invite, I think everybody has abilities. I think everybody, some people say I don't have a psychic bone in my body kind of thing, but I think everybody does because we come from the same place. We're all connected. So if anybody out there who's listening has anything that they're getting about Russ Mansion, feel free to call.
Okay, we have a caller, 541. I believe it's Elaine.
Yay.
Yay. Uh-oh. She dropped.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh,
we
no.
We never got to talk to her.
Oh, you won, Elaine.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Okay. And go.
You dropped the phone.
Uh-oh.
Who do we...
Elaine dropped the phone.
Who do we have?
Who do we have here? Hello?
I'm here.
Okay. Hi, how you doing?
I'm great. Am I the fifth caller?
Oh, I knew it was you.
Yes,
I should have said it. I knew it was going to be you. Kristen.
This is Kristen.
I know Kristen. I know Kristen well.
Let me guess, does she want a Seth-inspired ghostie?
Oh, my God. I already say he's going to haunt me till I die. I always tell him I hope I go first.
Yeah, if you go first, you're going to give me hell in the spirit box, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, you be prepared.
Yeah. Kristen is on our team. She is the Director of Investigations and an investigator.
Awesome. What team? Remind me, what team are you with?
White Light Paranormal Insight.
Because you guys are on the same team, right, Wendy?
Yeah.
Okay. You're just too far away. You need to be out here.
We're not that far away.
We plan to tour someday. I got a vision of a short bus. I'm going to get that short bus someday.
Would you quit telling everybody that?
I got it. I got it in my head.
When I very first started the team, he told me, I have visions of our team on a short bus someday. I'm like, oh, great. What kind of team am I getting myself involved with here?
We're very special. It'll be white, not yellow.
Yeah. It's okay. We'll be on whatever type of bus we belong on. That's what you say. It's always fate. We'll be where we're supposed to be.
Yes. So you must be really excited because you won a ghostie.
I guess so. I don't know how that worked out. I was fifth caller. I thought I wouldn't win it. I thought Elaine was going to win it. So.
And see, I had that prediction.
Yep, she dropped the phone. So yeah.
Oh no. Elaine was fifth.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
actually.
You know what? Elaine won it, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it to Elaine because she should have won it. So.
I was going to ask Teresa if you have two.
So sweet.
Let's make sure Elaine gets it. So Elaine dropped the phone. So, Elaine, I'm going to get off the phone, and you call back in so you can get your ghost. Aw. Okay, I'm going to go so Elaine can call. So, thank you, everybody.
And Kristen will be a guest someday on the Friday show.
Ooh,
yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to get off the phone so Elaine can call. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Kristen.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks,
Goodbye.
Kristen. Yes, Cindy,
See,
there are
isn't that
lots of cool people out here. Yeah.
That's an example of how great these people are.
Yeah, no kidding.
Very compassionate. I'm getting geared up to try to connect with Howard. I'm having a little trouble. He's like backing off on me.
Right?
Oh, no. He got shy.
Yeah. Did we lose Elaine again?
Where's Katerina tonight?
She is hiding in her bedroom.
Oh, let's tell her hello.
She is hiding in her bedroom playing on her computer. I said, are you going to come talk on the radio? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
she's 11?
She called in for the Ghost Girls, but I think that was as brave. Or no, wait, she called in when Ross was on air, I think, actually.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yes, the tribute to Todd, I believe it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Elaine is with us. Elaine is with us now.
Yay. Hi, Elaine.
Yay, Elaine.
Hi.
And she didn't
I'm
drop the phone.
embarrassed. I dropped my phone on the radio.
But you won. And Kristen is that honest. She said, is this for Elaine?
Kristen is a sweetheart.
She is.
Yes. Oh, man, yeah.
I'm just saying that because she can hear me. I say it behind her back, too.
You need stacked pancakes, don't you, Seth?
All the times her and Tracy have teased me, they deserve it a little bit. A little bit of jab. But, Elaine, congratulations. Have you seen the work, the Ghosties?
Yes, I have. I was at Crypticon this weekend.
Awesome.
Woohoo.
That must have been fun.
How did that go? That looked like
I
fun.
had a blast.
Good deal.
Elaine does some special things. Go ahead.
Oh, I got to meet some great people. There's another team in Oregon that I got to meet. They're a great group of people. And so I was really excited to meet another Oregon team up there.
Can you name them?
They're Oregon Paranormal Pack.
Excellent.
And they're out of Newport. And they are a little younger than me. I'm not going to say they're kids, but, you know, I have children that are older than them.
Yes.
You know what's funny? You get to a certain age and everybody's a kid.
I know.
Yep, it's happened to me.
They are wide-eyed, eager to learn. They were taking frantic notes.
Aww.
And, you know, they were like going, as much as we can learn, they're like little sponges, and bless them because they are trying to learn how to do things the right way.
That's awesome.
So,
is there a special ghostie that you can announce that she gets, or is it going to be a surprise?
Let's see, what kind of ghostie would she like? I'll see if I have one. If I don't, we could make one too.
I like any ghostie.
Let's say we got. I'm trying to think of what I have because everything right now I think is up at Spooked.
Well, here's what Elaine does. She is a investigator extraordinaire, awesome with the research. She also has a brochure, working on a book, and goes on different radio shows talking about health, safety in doing investigations. And she was actually a guest on the show. Weren't you a guest on this show? Yeah, you were.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So maybe that helps a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can make one with a little brochure and a microphone.
Ooh.
And with
that can come to my house?
Put a little oxygen mask on it.
I don't do one with a radio headset on it, so
there you go.
I need to get one done like that too because I have not done that yet. So.
Cool. We got ideas flowing.
On the radio.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you won, Elaine.
All the fans.
Well, I sort of won. I did drop the phone.
Well, you won.
And these things happen to all of us, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, because she dropped the phone, we might have to make a phone dropping ghost.
Phone dropping ghost. anniversary for the phone dropping.
Maybe I shouldn't have had that last glass of tequila, you know?
Hey, you're honest.
Yes, yeah. I wouldn't have been able to find the phone at that point.
Elaine is in the team called Whoopi. So how's everything going with Whoopi?
Whoopi is doing really well. We had a pre-investigation last night. We're wrapping up 2 other ones. Well, sort of one other one. The other one's pretty much wrapped. Staying really busy.
That's
so we're
awesome.
really excited that this other team is coming up and willing to learn, because we're getting calls from their neck of the woods, and we're excited about having somebody we can toss the ball over to.
Ooh, wonderful.
For help? Like in a joint team, kind of like if, you guys can share clients kind of thing, like that? Or?
A little of everything.
Oh, that's great.
There's some potential for some joint investigations coming up. Our team only wants to do 1 investigation a month because most of my team are parents. We work, we have lives, and trying to keep a balance.
Wendy.
we wind up with a little more than we can handle at times.
A lot of them do. We all have lives as well, so it does.
So,
it can be kind of hectic.
It would be nice if somebody from Newport calls us and goes, you got a local team. and we trust them. That is just going to be one of the coolest things when they learn and they're ready up and fully functional. That is going to be spectacular.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
That is. That's great that you're willing to do that, too. You're kind of like a team mentor, like a team mentorship.
Oh, those kids are in trouble.
Bringing out the paranormal whip. Because you're very systematic, very detailed, very thorough. So, yeah, they're going to learn a lot.
Oh, those poor kids.
I'm sure they're going to be grateful when all is said and done. Well, they're going to know how to do it right.
They will.
Yep.
I think that they're, like I said earlier, they're little sponges, and I shouldn't talk to them like they're about 5 because they're probably in their 25s.
Well, that's awesome. I think that's great that they have open minds and willing to learn instead of being hey, I got this. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's why I really, really was drawn to them. I know it all. They don't know it all, and they're open to saying we want to learn, and that's half the battle in this field.
Well, we'll look for great things out there in the field from them then.
Ooh.
Absolutely, yes.
Nothing like putting pressure on these guys.
What do you think of the Rust Mansion? So you were listening. What do you think of it?
I'm not 100% sure what to think.
Yeah, it's a mystery. We could have a curse situation going on. We could have all kinds of things.
Or it could just be an old beautiful house.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like trying to recover from the pre-investigation me and one of my teammates went on last night.
Are you allowed
really
to say a little?
I can say a little. There was high EMFs throughout the house. At one point, I had my hand on the wall, and we turned on the light because there was high EMFs. You actually feel the wall vibrate when you were turning on the light, which I've never experienced that before, and it was the electricity. And it was like, wow.
So it was all natural?
It's just regular electricity.
Okay.
So
guys,
when the EMF meter was spiking at 60, there was a problem, no matter what axis you're on.
We had a couple of those, too, those cases. Well, one in particular, and I don't usually do this, but I recommended they leave. It was that bad. And they're glad they did. Because the dog was getting sick. There were a lot of illnesses going on from that high EMF.
Ooh.
And I think there was a draw with spirits as well. It's like there was an elevator, and Black Wolf helped us on this investigation. There was an elevator, and they kept getting huge spikes in EMF right on both sides of the wall, in the elevator and in the apartment. So that was just a little much. Can that stuff be fixed, do you think? When it's electrical,
at great expense. Yes, it can be, but it's going to cost you a lot of money, most likely. It should be fixed. It should have been updated 50 years ago, but they just, it's one thing. It gets overlooked if it's not there sparking and causing fires and things like that.
Yeah. So what are you going to do in a situation like that, Elaine?
Well, we've drawn attention to the problem, and it's actually only one outlet in the entire house. I mean, there's high EMFs throughout the entire house, but what seems to be strange is the closer you get to that one electrical outlet, the higher they get. So there's another. The funny part about this upcoming investigation, is the part where the EMFs are normal is the part where the activity's happening.
How do you explain that one?
I can't, but I can tell you that we had personal experiences during the pre-investigation, which was like, and the lady's standing there going, and this is haunted and this happens, and it's like, no kidding. Really? Couldn't have guessed.
Wow. So you have a full investigation scheduled?
Yes, in about 2 weeks.
That's going to be interesting.
Guys, we do have a question.
Awesome.
Callie Girl wants to know if Teresa has ever had a ghostly encounter of her own, and if she's willing to talk about it now. I think they might know each other.
I think I might have to give a shout out, because I think that's my most awesome niece ever, Mackenzie.
Aww. Hi, Callie Girl Mackenzie.
I guess I can't say my most awesome niece ever, because Sophie might get upset about that. So I better get them both in there. I have to say I've only been, honestly, on one ghost hunt so far, and that was with the Ghost Girls, with Medea and Casey. We went up to Northern State Hospital, and we really didn't pick up anything while we were there. I said there's the little thing with the chandelier kind of moving up at rust, so kind of a little something, And the only other thing I could say with a ghostly experience, or something that's kind of drawn me into investigating the paranormal, is that I do have an experience of, after my grandmother passed away, or actually the night she passed away, I had a dream about my grandmother, and she was ballroom dancing, and she was with my grandfather, who had passed away, quite a few years earlier. And she just kind of was giving me the message that she was happy, and she was back with her husband and her sister and her mother, and, kind of that be at peace, I'm okay type thing. So I can't say it's an experience as in seeing a spirit or anything like, that exciting, but definitely I had a dream that just kind of touched me in a way, to learn then the next morning that she had passed away. And, talking to my mom about the ballroom dancing, and she said, well, your grandma used to do ballroom dancing, right? And I said, no, I hadn't known that, because, of course, in the time I had known my grandma, she was not, So it's kind of interesting to put a connection between the two, and almost, to me, it felt like, just kind of a hello, I still love you, I'm still here from Grandma. So I guess if you count that as a ghostly experience, that's probably the closest so far that I've experienced.
Aw, you gave me tears, and that's very sweet.
Well, like I say, it's not like the cool full body operation jumped out in front of me and said hello, but
right. Right. It's kind of how they communicate with the rest of us.
Yeah, it definitely was a symbol that I thought came from beyond, and it was just kind of that stereotypical I'm okay, don't worry about me type thing. And from there, obviously I did not have that type of a dream about her again, but it was a very real you almost wake up and you're wondering if you're still asleep or were you awake the entire time or what was going on.
Yep, in there.
Yeah. So I guess if that counts, like I say, if that counts as a ghostly experience. Otherwise, I keep giving Ross a hard time about having to take me on some investigations because we were hoping to do a lot more investigations in Tacoma. So if he ever gets out and gets me on those investigations, hopefully I'll encounter some more exciting stories that I can share with her.
Hey, Wendy, I was going to ask, how about a potty break?
You need one? We can do that.
I think that would be good. And then we can come back and maybe try to see what Howard has to say, if possible. I'm not promising.
Okay, I'll put a little music on, and then we can come back, and heck,
awesome.
Maybe we can even get Cindy to call in then, and we can talk to her a little bit.
Oh, that'd be great. And Elaine, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
You can get with Teresa on Facebook, and then you can give her your address.
I will do that.
Awesome.
You guys have a good night.
Thank you for calling.
All right, bye.
We'll be right back, folks.
Okay.
Welcome back. You are listening to Shadow Radio Wednesdays. I am Seth, and we're with Wendy. Hello, Wendy. And
Hello,
Teresa.
Hello.
What'd you say? Hello. We are talking about all kinds of things, especially the Rust Mansion. There's a picture on Blog Talk Radio of the white. Yeah, that's huge. Wow.
Yes. Huge, really large.
Wow, that is. Wow, that is so cool.
Isn't that front porch pretty?
It really is. I was paying attention to chat, and I didn't look up. Wow. I was doing the best I could and trying to connect with Howard. I am not having the best time doing that. I cannot find, maybe at another time. There's like this space, and it may be him just wanting to connect with a certain person, and he doesn't know who I am. It's possible that he got used to your energy. It's possible he moved on, but I'm not totally feeling that. I keep seeing like a box. Like there's a box representing secrets or like still held inside. I asked one of my mediums on our team, I chatted with her quick. She wasn't able to hear the beginning. I'm not sure. She would have to have him. He would have to go to her. So and I'm not sure if he's going to show up. So it was a valiant effort on my part. I'm not. I really wanted to, but you can't force these things either. So
see,
I have to be honest
now
about
you understand my problem because you'll be Rust obsessed too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, sometimes it takes a little time, too. So
yeah.
I know how to contact you now if that does happen, and we can always give an update.
Yeah.
So we can do it that way.
Absolutely.
Because I keep feeling an element of shy, I keep feeling this backing up, so I'm not going to force myself on him.
I can totally see that, too. If you figure, like I said, too, keep it in mind he was a young man. When he passed, he was only 24. And seems to be, he was a successful man in his own way, but, just not really out there. Not like, he was a family man and things like that. He kind of was to himself, it seems like.
Okay.
Especially after he was, if he was sick and coming down with this sickness and whatnot, I don't know, he was surrounded with friends at the time when he passed, supposedly, though. He was with mutual friends out there at Hanford, supposedly. So.
Yeah, it makes sense because I don't feel like he was totally alone. But there was like a nucleus of people that he trusted, and then there were some that he didn't. I don't think he had the greatest relationship with his father. Him even leaving, signifies that. It's an obvious thing, but just the feeling around it, it's like they didn't connect, but the mom did. Yeah. Yeah, because that's the feeling that I've gotten is that definitely, like I say, for lack of a better term, and forgive me, Howard, but, I think he was a little bit of a mama's boy. I'm kind of feeling, too, is that around it,
I don't mean that offensively.
I wasn't Dad's favorite.
Yeah.
It's possibly it. Go ahead.
There was about a 10-year age difference between the boys, too.
Because I have a feeling that the other one connected with the dad more.
Kind
of emulated him.
And if you kind of look at the business records, that sort of thing, later on down the line, most definitely Henry, the younger brother, followed in the footsteps of his dad. Yeah, I have that feeling for sure. Where Howard may have been a little more of a free spirit who didn't choose to go down that path, he still was a businessman and he still was working on the dealings with his dad, but let's see, I was going to see here. Let's see, Howard was born in 1886 and his brother in 1900. So when he died when he died in 1911, Henry was only 11 years old. Or 10, 11 years old. Yeah. All right, Howard, do you want to connect?
Oh.
Where are you? Very polite. I'm feeling somebody very, very polite. Hold on a second. It's interesting because, he wouldn't be one anyway, but we looked into, how do you say it, Basilica axe murder? house.
Mhm.
We met this really
Felicia.
sinister guy, and he didn't swear, and I wasn't used to that kind of sinister energy, not swearing. But it was like an old time. I forgot what was that, Wendy, back in the early 1900s, right?
1912. Yep.
So sometimes I can kind of feel the age or the era just from their language, too. It's really interesting how much it changed. Okay, let's see. Even he dresses really impeccable, too.
Well, I can imagine if they were, you know, a wealthy family and kind of back in that time, you know.
Dad didn't like me. Dad didn't like me. I think I may be making a connection here. Like, why didn't Dad like you? Okay, so what happened to you? If I'm connecting with you correctly, Howard, what happened? How did you passed on, correct? He's sad about it. I'm feeling some sadness. He's starting to approach. I've just come to you with utmost respect, and if you're willing to tell us your story, that would be awesome. If you don't want to, that's okay too. We come with nothing but love. Okay, so if I'm connecting with him correctly, I'm feeling really sad, really lonely. He doesn't know where anyone is. I feel like there's another spirit too there also, but it doesn't feel like they're connecting. Doesn't feel like they're communicating. I have this looming feeling of the father too, and I think that's kind of closing him in. Now, I don't know if that's just his residual energy or if that's really the father yet.
Yeah.
But I kept seeing him and feeling him before, but now it's like a different, just like an image. So it might be what he's experiencing his father as. So it's possible the father is there and he's not connecting with him. And it's still that fear of him. It's like he has a fear of his father.
Yeah.
Do you know Teresa, Howard? So I'm thinking about your energy, because he might not know your name, and seeing if he can relate.
The crazy
window.
ghost play lady.
I saw him through a window. So it's possible he was looking out at you.
Is this when the chandelier shook?
I can't say for sure if I'm feeling that was him. It could have been. I don't know. Yeah, can't say for 100% on that one. All right, so Howard, with all due respect, this would be a great time. If not, you can come back. You can connect with us again. So he didn't have any kids, right?
No
because he wanted to. That's part of his sadness is like he didn't have a normal life.
Yeah.
What did you pass on from? Can you tell us? Okay, I believe I heard I was very sick. How did you, do you know, did you die of natural causes? Was something wrong with your heart? He was really pale. And I see him as really thin. So I don't think it was like he didn't go outside much. I don't know if you can verify or confirm that. But it didn't feel like he ate much either.
Well, there was something with, in the obituary about, the reason for going out into Hanford to get out of the city and get to where there was more fresh air and he could get out more. Okay,
good. How he's presenting right now, how I see him still is pale. Do you know how long he was out there? Probably not very long, right?
No, I mean, if I know the family left, I think like in January or something. I was just looking at it now and seeing 2 years ago. So 2 years. He had been in Hanford for 2 years.
Howard, I don't know if you know this, but the time has gone by, and you're still living on, but your body is you no longer need your body. You're free, and there's some people that still care about you, and we're in the year 2013. That's hitting them kind of weird. If I'm connecting with him correctly, that's like, what?
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 Well, it does say here, too, it says his health was starting to improve, and then in February he caught a severe attack of the grip.
Okay. I don't even know what that is, but let me connect with him to find out. Hold on, because this is a good way to validate if I'm connecting with him correctly. Hang on. Okay, Howard, what is that? I'm feeling like I can't breathe very well. and I'm feeling really weak. Like I got to keep sitting down. So I don't know what that is, but that's what I'm picking up on that. Like I cannot frickin' breathe. Do you know what that is?
No, it's interesting because I'm just looking it up now. I know it's an old term.
I'm feeling so weak with that.
But it actually, if you look up grip, or the grip, it comes up as influenza.
Oh, okay. That would make sense.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So, common cold, influenza.
All right. Whoa. Yeah. Did you die of natural causes, Howard? Because that's what Teresa, your friend now, would really like to know, so that she can get your story out, your message correct. What can you tell us, if you're willing? I was very sick. So I think that's all I'm going to get from him on this. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I need to tell you, Howard, that if and when you're ready, you have an option to let go of everything you're hanging on to, and you'll be able to see a way to freedom so that you can find all your loved ones, because I know you're looking for your mom. So just whenever you want, the choice is there, just so you know. Because I'm feeling like you would like to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do this, you can come back and thank Teresa. You can say hello to her, which you will be feeling much more peaceful, more whole. You're going to get all the answers to all your questions. I kind of feel like I don't want to say it, but it's like he hated and resented his father. And, and like people that know him wouldn't say, no, he wouldn't do that, because he's very sensitive and very kind. But I think there's a lot of pain and anger around that. Thank you, Howard, for being willing to connect with me. Do you have any message for Teresa? Because she's really been wanting to help you. Just thank you. So don't feel with that. He had a crush on a girl. I don't know where that came from. That just came up. I don't think he has a crush on you, but for some reason, when I was thinking of you, he like showed me an older style dress of a woman. I think he had a crush on somebody. His health really hurt him being able to live a regular life.
Oh, yeah. I can
His
imagine.
mom, in a way, enabled him, though. This is what I'm feeling from this whole situation. So, but he loved her. So, me even saying that, he's like, no, don't. My mom has nothing to do with this. Don't blame my mom. Mother. Don't blame mother.
Yeah.
No, I'm not blaming her at all. I just totally understand the situation, Howard. So we love you enough to let you know that there's a choice. That's all. And you can come back if you wanted to. Okay, I'm going to leave him at that. I'm feeling the door close. I don't think he's quite ready, and I hope that was okay with you, but I really wanted him to know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's backing off.
It's like, I'm done with you guys.
Yeah. Well, that was a lot to handle, That was a lot to take. What, 2013? What the heck?
What on earth? Yeah.
Because he was pretty much in his emotions. He was right there in the present, in his past, which was his present. That's what I got from it.
Well, if you think about, okay, he's born with this heart condition. He gets this really, really bad case of the flu or a cold. And then his death certificate states that basically his heart just ruptured and he died instantly. So even though he was sick and he knew he was sick, it just went too fast,
According to him, he died of natural causes by saying, I was sick.
Yeah.
And when I believe I connected with him, I feel 100% that the father probably didn't have anything to do with it.
See, and I wonder...
Go ahead.
I wonder if some of the controversy or some of the vibes that the other psychic was picking up maybe was that there was a controversy between him and his dad. You know what I mean? There was some tension there.
Yes. Big time.
Was picking up on the tension with Dad, and that turned into.
Hey, what if he thought about it? What if the father had thought about it? It's very well she could have been picking up on the thoughts.
True.
And especially if the mother loved him that much and doted on him that much, that takes away from the husband. And some guys don't like that, especially if he was very old-fashioned. It's like, you should be paying attention to me.
Yeah.
Because I even found out that the old-style clothes are styled, the buttons for the man, so the woman can button. So, I mean, that was a very, patriarchal society, even more so back then. So if this woman's going to pay more attention to the son,
Yeah. You know, the thing you say, though, about that he had a female that he was kind of looking towards, too, that, you know, wasn't coming across as a mother symbol, but someone else that he was interested in, you know, that almost kind of goes with the, no, wait a minute, you know, I was interested in a female, not a male.
Okay.
Because,
that's right. Oh, why did I forget about that? Yeah, and I wasn't, okay.
Yeah, because the controversy or the, you know, what was posted out there publicly was, So that's kind of interesting that, you know, by the way.
Well, how much time have we got?
Yeah. Oh, about 18, 19 minutes.
How about for fun we try to connect with that guy?
Okay.
Okay, what was that guy's name again? I got a terrible memory.
Which one?
Not Howard, but the father.
William Ross.
Oh, William, of course. Okay, let's do it. Okay, hold on a second. All right, William. Where are you? Coming to you with respect, just trying to find you, see if there's anything you want to tell anybody. All right, him, I'm trying to, sometimes I guess it does take a little bit for them to come forward if they're willing. So let's see, William, where are you? I'm feeling the mom, actually. Do you know the mom's name, first name? I'm not the best with names.
I want to say Helen. Helen.
What is it?
Helen M.
Okay. Oh, that's why I kept getting M. Okay.
Helen M.
Well, so when I'm focusing on the mom, I get this rush of deep sadness. You know, it's possible that she would have wanted him, the husband, to be that way, to rely on her.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to come forward, Helen, and talk with us? We're friends from we're in a later time than you were in. We'd really like to, we're reaching out to you if you're willing to step forward and talk with us. I believe, I think I heard, I don't believe I know you. And it's a real gentle voice, like really high. It almost reminds me of this one EVP we got when this lady, we were in a way, and this one guy spirit on EVP, he goes, get in here. And you can hear this high-pitched voice say, it's effing tight in here. But she said the whole word. And the other guy goes, just walk right through them. So her voice is really high-pitched like that, but soft at the same time. The other one's a little bit more harsh. This one is, oh, wow. Okay, so dress. I want to say thin, but she was kind of bosomy. I don't know if you have a picture of her.
With maybe like a corset and accentuating the waist and then making the bust look bigger.
She's got a full,
Let me see. I have her, I believe, her obituary picture. Dark hair, yeah.
She was in a bun. Okay, she's got her hair in a bun. Oh, my gosh, you got a beautiful energy. But you have so much sadness. Helen, if this is you, can you... What? What were you saying, Teresa? I'm sorry.
Very beautiful woman.
And beautiful energy.
From what I gather, you know, history-wise that I've gathered on her, very, very beautiful woman, very caring, very kind. You know, like I say, she donated.
I didn't do enough. She's crying. I didn't do enough. She wishes she could have saved him. He shouldn't have died that young. That's what she's saying. Gosh, there's so much sadness. Well, we just talked. Do you know where he is, Helen? Do you know where Howard is? It's almost like they can't find each other. That's kind of odd. Well, I was just talking to your son about letting go of his pain and going through the light. Because once you do that, you'll be able to see your options. It's kind of like an exit door out of this and finally being who you always were, and you can find anybody you wanted to find or not find who you didn't want to see. Let me see if I can connect her. I had two boys. Yes, we know. The other one didn't really, you know what? The other one was kind of rude to her, according, like, if I'm connecting with her correctly. The other one wasn't as nice to her. Kind of talked down to her. She got a lot of love from Howard. I can understand that. I wish I didn't know ahead of time, but I'm feeling that, and I know that you said that she didn't want to go home, but her world really did crash.
Mhm.
And I don't know if she's really in that house. I don't think she's in that house, the man. And that's why they're not finding each other. So I'm putting that intent out there that they both decide to go through that light and find each other, because there can be a lot of peace with that. And I'm putting that out there to her, and I'm letting her know he's in the mansion. We believe he's there at that old home.
Yeah, see, he could be traveling back there, thinking that's the last place his mother was.
Right.
Traumatized to go back.
Helen, think of the mansion. Focus on the mansion, and you'll find your son. Once you guys find each other, oh my gosh, that was it. Okay. I got that thing. I get this like all over body thing when one crosses. I think they either found each other or crossed, or both. That was the missing link for them.
What's connecting?
Awesome.
They had to find each other. They were the only ones that they had. Because that father, and I'm not connecting with him yet, and I kind of don't want to because he's kind of a creep, but he's got his own issues. I would be willing to talk with him and connect with him if he wanted to, because I think he just had a lot going on and had to do with his childhood and his upbringing. So I would, I would.
He was just a big old businessman, probably the standard workaholic.
Huge facade, though. Yeah, I mean, you say that he was really gregarious, from your research and everything, and I'm sure he was, but, like, behind closed doors, he was not very nice. That's I get over and over.
Yeah, yeah.
But I really, for 100%, feel he did not kill Howard.
Yeah. That's a good feeling, though.
What was that?
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good feeling, that I just posted all the pictures up on my Facebook.
Oh, great. Okay.
Picture of Helen. Picture of the dad, which I think you definitely will get that firm appearance if you see him, and then there's one of Henry.
Does he have a mustache, a big mustache?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, oh crap. Damn, now he is here. I didn't want to talk to you.
Damn it, you were supposed to connect those two.
I wasn't ready for this. He's very, very, I slouch. He's very, very, like, his posture is amazing. My chest is all out, my back is straight. I want to talk very proper. And that's just not me. All my friends know that. Okay. I almost slouched again, and he's like very straight back. Okay, let's go. Hang on a second. So I just want to let you know that if I'm really connecting with you, William, this is nothing but respect. And if you would like to talk with us, because you know why he's here, or I'm connecting with him, is because we were focusing on him. And because he kind of doesn't know, where are you? See, it's interesting because all of these have so many emotions that I don't think any of them had crossed before, obviously, from what I'm feeling. So, all right. William, he's got a tie on. I don't even know how to tie that tie. It's not quite a bow tie. It's not a regular tie. Very white. Wow, man. They're like starchy shirts. I'm feeling sort of uncomfortable. It's like very, wow, it makes you very proper feeling. Wow, like impeccable. Okay. He didn't like, he was like kind of like almost a germaphobe. He was like very neat. Like he didn't like he had to be very clean. Everything had to be very, very proper and clean. So, order. That was his control. He was very controlling.
Mhm.
What did you feel about your sons? None of your business kind of feeling. Okay. We don't have to go there. You modeled, you shaped and molded one, though. What was that one's name again? Teresa?
Henry.
Henry. Wasn't he your, protege? No, I'm not after any business. You know what? He's very, what is that? He doesn't want me to know his business side. He's very sheltered with that. What was that?
That kind of makes sense.
He's like, no, we'll talk about certain things, but we're not going to talk about that. That is mine, basically.
Protective,
so,
yeah.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't shrewd, something like that. Okay, I'm not after your money. I'm not after any of your business knowledge. I'm here as just one human being to another. He's telling me I'm not in the same class as him. You don't know what jeans look like. I don't think they had jeans back then. Do you think I'm a pauper or something? I'm not begging for money here. I'm just one human being to another. If you can imagine, it can happen, so I'm going to imagine myself really, 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 greatly dressed. There we go. That didn't work. I tried. All right, where's Henry? He's fine. Okay. I can't find Henry through him. So, William, I just want to let you know that you need to, it's really important that you are aware that you no longer have your business. You're actually a spiritual being. You shed your skin. It's been buried, or it's a mortuary, correct, Teresa?
Mhm.
Your body was very well taken care of, and all respect was there, and you were honored. A lot of people cared about you, your business sense, and I have a feeling not a lot of people connected with your heart. And I have a feeling, based on what we kind of know, is that you had secrets, not just with your business, but in your life. And back then, those secrets were very taboo. But now we're in 2013, and people are more okay with that. They're more accepting. They realize that you don't have to love the different gender. It's okay if you love the same gender. It's love. So I just wanted you to know that he's very upset about me saying that for some reason. I'm feeling sadness. That's awesome, because that means we're getting to the core. So, hang on a second. But it wasn't reciprocated. It was like conditional, what do you call it? You know, that makes sense with the age, because they wouldn't want people to know. It was probably very, shunned, right? I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm imagining.
Oh, yeah, definitely, with the Bible
had to be
as
quiet.
they interpreted. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right, absolutely. And back then they were very adamant about that. Let's see.
Yeah.
Abomination. Just want to let you know, William, that you did not do anything wrong by loving somebody, if you did, of the same gender. That was not wrong. That people were very narrow-minded, and I want you to know that you do have a choice to move on, and you're not going to go to hell. I needed you to know that, because that really hit him. Because he was taught that what you do not lay with another. You're reciting Bible quotes to me, and that's why I'm telling you this, because you need to know that. As far as my experience, I've seen people that did terrible things. They let go, and they were forgiven, and they moved on. They were able to feel their wholeness and celebrate the light and be with loved ones. So if you want to do that, if you let yourself forgive yourself about your son too, because I know you're angry with yourself inside. I know it. I can feel it. So once you let that go, just let that drip from you, you'll be able to feel peace finally, and you'll be able to make amends and forgive yourself. All right, he's crying. I'm
you
feeling
made
a lot.
The big man cry.
What was that?
You made the big mean man, scary dry man cry.
Yeah. I got that knack.
Oh, yeah, we can pay for that later.
Yeah. No ego about this. This is just one spiritual being to another. I feel for him because I can feel like he had to put on a lot of airs. He had to overcompensate.
Oh, definitely.
He had to put up a front, like he didn't really love his wife. I'm seeing this now. They had twin beds. Either they had twin beds or they just didn't sleep together, but they're not sleeping together.
That would make sense back in that time, too, though. You think early 1900s.
Yeah. But he didn't, I feel so sorry, so bad that you had to go through that, William. That you had to even deny that in yourself and have to hide that. So when you're ready to let go of that, you're going to be able to see another option. And if you would like to move on, you have that choice. And if you don't want to and aren't ready, that's okay too. But I wanted you to know, you deserve to know the truth. That was a long time ago. Your time went really quick. It seems like yesterday for you, and you still feel like you have a business, but you don't. That's in the past. And you're honored, and you're respected. And I really think it's time for you to respect yourself.
Hey, Seth.
Yeah.
Could it be his spirit that's been lingering at the mansion?
Yeah, I really think it was Howard, too, though. But I don't think they connected. They didn't in life either. So, like, one was on one level and the other one was on the other level. If a spirit had to do with the chandelier, I think it would more be William. Get off my property.
Yeah.
Did you do that, William? I'm just going to ask you. Do you know if you tried to or focused on a chandelier for it to move at your house? He's telling me he doesn't know what I'm talking about. That doesn't mean he didn't do it. The memories are different. It's like imagine yourself in a dream state, and there's flashes of things, and there's you hang on to different words. You see flashes of different people. It's from when I'm connecting with him, it's a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
But he's got that same demeanor. He's got that same personality. So when you're ready to let go of that, just know you have a choice. I feel like he's here with me, but I'm going to let him know too that it's important for you to go back to where you were, just to go process. If you do not choose that, I really can't have anybody in my house right now. And I want to thank you so much for being willing to visit with me, though, and to talk with and connect with me. Okay. All right. I think he's going to cross, but he's not ready now.
Cool.
And he's gone.
We have about a minute and a half now in the show.
Thank you, everybody, for letting me do this.
Sure.
Thank you, Teresa, for being with us.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Congratulations, Elaine.
What an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I didn't expect to do that, but I really appreciate you guys being open to it.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. That's, it actually kind of puts a lot of, I'm not going to say closure, but puts my mind at ease with a lot of things, too, then.
And then see how it feels to you, as time goes on. Just kind of settle with it and see how that is for you. I have a feeling you're very empathic, so. All right. We got to close. We'll stay in touch, Teresa.
Yeah, definitely.
Call in any time. Or join us on our Friday show even, too, sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
We got a cool Mystic Moon Cafe.
I hear that we're going to have a ghosty joint custody going on between Kristen and Elaine.
That is so cute. Aw, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Can
All
you
right.
hear the British woman?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay. All righty. She just said
that one's
10
you.
seconds.
Oh,
okay,
then
we're
we get
recording
that one.
now. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
everybody.
you
Thank you, listeners.
They're gone. But we can
They're gone.
keep talking as long as you guys want to, I think, or at least for another 20 minutes.
This will be on the recording, though. Yeah, this will be on the recording.
Yes, it will be on the recording.
So whatever you say. That was great. Thank you so much. I always feel so good when people are willing to, go through, experience that.
Yeah, no, thanks. That was awesome. I'm just amazed with, I was kind of chatting with my sister back and forth a little bit too, and I said, I'm just amazed at the fact that, some of the details that you came up with are, like describing William and things like that, and it's kind of like, I've been looking at this man's picture for the last several months, and you're like describing him to a T.
Wow, yeah, it was his time to kind of realize things, I think. Because it's so easy, even like, isn't it sad from the early 1900s, they're still in the same situations? And they don't realize that, hey, sometimes they just need a little human help. That's how my guide explained it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of be reminded.
You say, it kind of cracks me up with the telling Howard that, what year it is, and he's kind of like, what?
What? I know, right? I mean, that's very science, sci-fi.
Yeah.
What, you guys floating around in cars? What are you...
Yeah.
But like, he couldn't fathom it when I connected with him, and I think he crossed. But definitely the mom crossed, because I got that thing. It was amazing.
Cool. See, and that's, like you say, the connection of connecting the two together. She's probably been looking for her son this entire time, but she's not been willing to go back to that house because she associates it with,
Bingo! And he went there thinking his mom would show up.
Because that's where mom's going to be. I don't know where the new house is that's 6 blocks away.
Exactly.
They
don't realize all they got to do is focus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was interesting because if they focused on what?
Go ahead.
If they focused on each other, they would have found each other, but they were focusing on locations.
Yeah.
She didn't want to go there.
No, she, like I say, from everything that I've read, and even in like the National Registry, like I say, it says right in there that she was so uncomfortable with that house that she refused to step foot in it. So basically, from the time that they came home, she refused to go back into that house. And, she probably, I mean, you're just assuming, you associate at the time. Because, now, remember, he lived at home until this age, too. He lived at home until he moved over to Hanford. So her son was living under her roof with her in her house, and then all of a sudden he's gone.
Oh.
And, I've always kind of got the feeling, too, that the connection was maybe closer between Howard and his mom and Henry and the dad.
Yeah.
And so, not that she didn't love Henry, but I think Howard passing, it was her firstborn son, and was maybe a little more traumatizing.
William did not admit, when I connected with him, he did not want to admit he was, gay.
Yeah.
Because I could feel him trying to hide it.
Yeah.
If that was true. So, and then whoever he had a love with, he had a thing with, I don't think that one was at all willing to speak about it, and I think it really hurt William.
Yeah. But see,
William
that, again, like I said, though, then that fits in with, I'll have to send you the links to that. Well, somebody posted it in our chat, but darn it, I think I just shut it down. The website that had the psychic that went and talked or went out to the house and stuff. Oh, bummer. Yeah, I shut it down, and now our thing went away.
Was it one about that vampire? Or
vampire?
It was labeled kind of weird, yeah.
I didn't see a vampire in there.
Let me see. Well, it's
here
the
it is.
lady. Okay, yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Vampire Review. Her name is Tammy Jackson, and she is, let's see, what does she actually call herself? An intuitive reader.
Okay.
So I'll give you just a little gist here. She says, I first heard about this house a week or two ago. Mind you, this is back, I want to say like in 2005, I think. No, 2011. First heard about this house a week or two ago and have continued to feel haunted by the stories surrounding it. Deciding I should investigate to learn more, I quickly realized that what's available through typical research means common Google search, etc., only created more questions for me when documentation about this house and the family that had lived there didn't match either the stories that I've heard or messages I had gleaned intuitively. So she hired a private investigator type person to do some research for genealogy.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of things like on census readings and stuff where William had left his wife's name off of it.
Okay.
But intentionally put, say, all of their servants' names and things like that. So just kind of odd.
They had a lot.
Like, why did you leave, why did you leave her off of there? Let me see. I first became fascinated with this house when another psychic told me just recently that she had been inside this house with the mission of launching a house cleaning effort. Without any visible remorse or embarrassment, she admitted the home became filled with spooky paranormal events that she had to abandon the mission.
Wow.
Knowing that I often clear houses professionally, she asked if I'd be willing to accompany her back inside this home. But when I admitted that I charged a reasonable fee and guaranteed my work or provided full refund to the customers not completely satisfied, she all but rescinded the offer.
Okay.
All of this time I felt the following story that the psychic told me was at least partly true and very fascinating. Not only did I suddenly feel as though I instantly knew the victim in the story, but the young male involved was actually a fun-loving person who was simply trying to live authentically, and his lifestyle conflicted with the conservative times and with his father's need to uphold a certain public image.
She's talking about Howard?
She's talking about Howard.
Yeah, I can agree with the fun-loving thing. He was very nice.
But I'm wondering if, because here, it says, a highly respected businessman, William Ross Rust, herein referred to as WR, because that's what he's often under, traveled quite often. During one trip to Europe, his grown son, as the story was told to me, the son's name was not given, but this is Howard, was tired of conforming to social standards of the day, and he hooked his horses up to a buggy and drove around Tacoma with his male lover on the seat beside him. The two men kissed in public, which was something that William would never have endorsed or tolerated. Okay. The moment that William arrived home early from his trip,
it's the opposite. Okay,
having
I got
heard,
the opposite. Okay.
Having heard of his adult son's escapades while abroad, he reportedly shot his son point blank and killed him. The murder is rumored to have happened on the front porch of the above-mentioned home. According to the rumor, death records listed the son's death as due to natural causes, thanks to cultural homophobia and the fact that WR was highly respected as an important citizen.
I'm not saying she's wrong, but I didn't feel that.
Well, and I just kind of wonder if there's some confusion there. Because I'm more inclined to go with what you felt, that, there was tension between Howard and his wife, or there wasn't a real strong connection there, so there could have been, and, maybe it was a younger man that he was interested in, who knows, but, you know what I mean? Like, maybe there was just a little...
Like, when I believe I connected with William, I didn't feel like he killed anybody.
No.
So I can't agree with that. I'm not saying she's wrong. She could have been into it in something else. It could have been, maybe I'm off. But I just can't. I didn't feel it.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, there was a suicide in the house, or as the reports claim, it's called an accidental death.
Okay, that's later, right?
That's later. That's way after the rest were gone.
I felt a neck pressure.
Go ahead.
That's okay. Go ahead.
The suicide was they were running like an apartment complex at the time, and the husband, gentleman, whatever of the house, he was up for charges of sexual assault against a deaf girl. Was due to go to trial the following day. And he's standing in the dining room, and this one there's newspaper accounts of. He's standing in the dining room with a friend of his and his wife, and he's showing off this new pistol that he just got. Supposedly it's not loaded or anything like that. He holds it up to his head like, ha, look, I'm going to shoot myself, and fires and kills himself.
Whoa.
So it was ruled as an accidental death, but if you really kind of look at it, it looks more like it was a suicide because, again, he was a pretty influential guy. And what would that have done to his family had he been proven guilty at that trial?
Right.
You know, it's a much better way to go out for his family if he goes out with an accidental death than if he goes out with a suicide.
Yeah.
But
and that's
that
not William. That's another guy, right?
Yeah, no, that's Orville, I think. It was like Orville Billings. So, yeah,
okay.
No, totally different guy. And, I mean, that's like years later. Because Orville was...
There's a lot of layers. And that could go back to the Indian, or to the people. That was like you called the people.
Yeah.
So...
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's so much there.
Yeah.
That it's, you know, like I say, I wouldn't necessarily say I think the house is haunted, but I haven't been inside of it either. But, you know, it's just, there's so much there. There's so much stuff that has happened and so much history that my researching brain just goes crazy.
Yeah.
It's like I got to know the answers and...
Yeah.
I got
trying to.
Now, I was curious. Has anyone tried to find living people who might have been servants at the mansion at the time, or are there any, or do you know?
I don't know. I know very few of the family members are even around anymore. I don't think any of the family, Rust family anyway, is in the Tacoma area anymore.
Okay.
Henry had 3 daughters. I believe all of those daughters have married. I actually learned a lot. The gentleman who's doing the bronze sculpture, one of the ways he's been researching was he put together on Ancestry.com like a family tree. And he's got probably the most extensive Rust family tree I've ever seen. But it looks like... you know, so Henry had 3 daughters. Of those daughters, one of them had a child. And I think, you know, that grandchild is still around and possibly one of the daughters.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's too, the family has just all passed on, you know.
Right, with no heirs and no.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Oh,
well,
I hate seeing
and that's Rod tells me what I need to do. I need to go with Katerina and be up at the mansion and just say, "Oh, my daughter accidentally threw her frisbee up on your roof. Can I go get it?" You know, I don't want you guys to have to climb up there, so I'll go ahead and climb up on the roof. I just need to go through your house.
Yeah. Is there access through the roof? Yeah.
Yeah, so that he keeps teasing me about that. I can't believe her. We can at least dress her up as a Girl Scout and go knock on the door. Living in that huge house now is this one elderly couple just by themselves.
Oh, man.
It's either that or we decided that we would just would ask to be their personal servants, and maybe they would, you know, give us the house after they pass on.
That's it. Endear yourself to them and take it over.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll let you guys I'll let you guys go because my little
All
one
right.
says it's past
Thank
her
you,
bedtime.
Teresa.
But
when I saw
thank
your
you.
first ghosty, I knew we would talk someday.
Well, I know I said I was kind of excited because Wendy says, well, Seth's going to be there. And I'm like, I know Seth. I think we're friends on my ghosty site, I think.
Yes, we are.
I added you on the other one today, but I think you've been on the ghosty one for a while because I was like, I recognize him.
Yeah.
So not bummer that Justin wasn't here. I mean, that would have been cool too. But I'm so glad that you were here and did it tonight. It's great.
Yeah, and thank you out there if you're listening to the recording, Justin. And we all look forward to him being back next time.
All right.
Well, thank you again. It was really great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you. You too. Keep in touch, guys.
Definitely.
Okay, we'll talk
Bye-bye,
to you later.
Wendy.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.